I was at the 70th Cork International Film Festival and I saw a lot of movies and I want to talk about them. The first film I saw was Sentimental Value, directed by Joachim Trier. This is the same director as The Worst Person in the World, and this film stars Stellan Skarsgård, Renée Reinsve, and Elle Fanning. If any of the, four people who watched my 2021 list might know, there is a distinct lack of The Worst Person in the World on that list, because that film did not resonate with me at all. I found it to be very underwhelming and half-baked. But I went into this movie with not high expectations, but cautiously optimistic. Maybe this one will connect, and maybe it might encourage me to revisit Worst Person in the World. But I can't beat around the bush. This is probably the most boring movie I've seen this year. It's a legit cure to insomnia. The person sitting next to me fell asleep. I'm not joking, he actually fell asleep and started snoring. I wish I could have joined him, because this movie was such a chore to sit through that I think falling asleep would have been a better use of my time, as harsh as that sounds. At one point I started checking my pulse, and this wasn't like a sarcastic gesture. Like, I was legitimately getting more stimulation from feeling my heartbeat, like from the side of my neck, than from watching the movie. I was just completely checked out for the entire second half of this movie. I wanted to leave. I would have turned this off if I was watching it at home. And I know it sounds harsh, but that's my honest experience with this movie. Joachim Trier, he makes me feel alienated, because I do not understand what people get out of his half-baked, overly long, surface-level melodramedies. I felt exactly the same I did with this as I did with The Worst Person in the World, if I didn't say that already. This film has a decent premise and then proceeds to do nothing with it. It doesn't escalate or develop into anything interesting. It just continues to stay as an idea of a story for the entire runtime. It's like a melodrama that refuses to indulge in any of the, drama. The relationship between the protagonist and her father is too vague and underexplored. It doesn't add anything beyond what you'd get from reading the plot description. It's very predictable, both in terms of narrative and metaphor. For so many scenes, I knew exactly what they were doing and how it was going to play out, so I spent much of the film just waiting for the film itself to catch up with me. It has some great cinematography with vibrant colours and impressive one-takes. The only way the story had any sort of impact was through the editing. The film was an absolute chore to sit through. I wanted to leave for the entire second half. As I've said before, it was like eating a dry cream cracker with no water. It felt longer than The Brutalist. It makes Jean Dielman look like Crank 2 by comparison. It refuses to end and seemed determined to continue on for eternity. It was simultaneously too much and not enough at the same time. I shouldn't have said at the same time. Yeah, simultaneously that was redundant. Anyway, between this and Worst Person in the World, I can confidently say that I will not be watching Joachim Trier's next snooze fest. So it was a bit of an unfortunate way to start the festival for me, but yeah, what can you do? I'm giving this one a 5 out of 10. The next film I saw was It Was Just an Accident. This is directed by Iranian director Jafar Panahi. He's a very interesting guy. I think it's worth looking into his Wikipedia page to get a bit of his backstory, because there's a lot there with his, persecution from the Iranian government and all the censorship and pushback he's faced by their regime. He's the same guy who made Taxi and This Is Not a Film, and the only other film I've seen from him was Taxi, and I found that the story behind the film was more interesting than the film itself, which you can look into. It's like him trying to work his way around the lifetime ban on filmmaking he got from the Iranian authorities, and I knew that like a lot of his films were about that. They were about like skirting the ban, trying to find loopholes and such. So I went into It Was Just an Accident kind of expecting that. I was kind of expecting like, oh, there's like a meta narrative at play, and that's why people appreciate it. That it's it's more about the film's existence than the film itself. Because, like, to be honest, it sounds harsh, but like Taxi, it's more of an interesting idea of a movie than actually watching it. Unfortunately, that was just how I felt about it. But this film did win the Palme d'Or at Cannes this year, so I was excited to see it regardless. I was going to see it no matter what because of that. And having watched it, this is probably my favorite movie of the festival, and is going to be one of my favorite movies of the year, without a doubt. Like, this thing is incredible from start to finish. It is masterfully directed, but also immensely entertaining. This film can go from goofy comedy antics to dead serious intensity in a moment's notice. The story is constantly twisting and turning, and each new development only makes it more engaging. The characters are all endlessly watchable and play off each other in such a fun, chaotic way. The story gives off some slight Coen Brothers vibes as well, with how this series of events progress. The cinematography is operating on a whole other level. It features some staggeringly dynamic and meticulous long takes that I honestly struggle to wrap my head around. The use of lighting is breathtaking, and I love how a location can completely transform as the lighting conditions change as well. This film hits nearly every emotion on the spectrum. It's funny, it's upsetting, it's nerve-wracking, and it's disturbing. It's best to go into this knowing as little as possible. The third act is so intense that I nearly forgot I was watching a movie. The ending itself is fantastic too. This film gave me a whole newfound appreciation for Jafar Panahi, and I'm looking forward to checking out more of his films. And like most of his other films as well, there is a meta aspect as well, where his real life experience is played into the film as well. But I feel like the filmmaking backs it up more so than it did in what I had seen from him beforehand. But anyway, this is a fantastic film. I loved it, I adored it. Cannot wait to see it again. I would recommend it to everyone. I'm feeling a very high 9 out of 10 on this. The next film I saw was The Voice of Hind Rajab, directed by Kauthar Ben Hania, a Tunisian director. This is the same director as Four Daughters and The Man Who Sold His Skin. I thought Four Daughters was a very interesting experimental documentary that felt very reminiscent of a Abbas Kiarostami film, and The Man Who Sold His Skin I thought was very fine. It was okay, it was serviceable, it was just fine. It didn't really resonate with me. But The Voice of Hind Rajab, this is her latest film. It might be my favourite film from her so far, but it's a difficult film for me to really talk about for reasons that I'll get into. This film features actual voice recordings of a 6-year-old girl who was trapped in a car in a war zone in Gaza. It feels wrong, but I'm going to try and judge this movie as I would with any other. I struggle with movies that are directly about ongoing / recent tragedies. Like, I don't know. Like, as I was watching this film, other cinema goers were stuffing their faces with snacks and gulping down alcoholic beverages, like myself included, and a part of me found that to be inappropriate, that this tragedy was, at the end of the day, it was still a piece of entertainment despite the filmmaker's efforts. The voice recordings are harrowing, like they are so goddamn like just devastating, like they really shake you to your core. They're so harrowing that it's difficult for your mind to comprehend it. Like, there's some protective mental barrier that prevents you from picturing the full extent of what's happening, to stop you from like just having a breakdown. The tragedy is so gargantuan, so catastrophic, so senseless that the film cannot contain it. The rest of the film is solid. It mostly hinges on the talents of the cast, which are fantastic and convey a lot of intensity and urgency through their performances, and a very masterful range of emotions. And they also, I can't speak. They also display a masterful range of emotions through their performances as well. The actors interact with the voice recordings as though they were a live conversation, and it's perfectly seamless. There's one shot in this that's actually kind of insane, and I've never really seen anything like it. The actors are out of focus in the background while a phone screen is in the foreground recording them. However, I'm not sure, but I think this is how it was done. What's appearing on the phone screen is actual footage of the real people the actors were portraying, and they essentially recreated this footage in real time as though you were watching it get recorded, if that makes sense. There isn't really much else to say about this film. A lot of people at the screening were crying, so go into this prepared. I feel like this film kind of opens up a bigger, deeper conversation, which I just don't really feel prepared to have right now. But for now, I'm giving this a 7 out of 10, I guess. Like, I don't know. It feels wrong giving this a number, but I'm trying my best here. Yeah, it's a great film. Really enjoyed it. It's probably going to win the Oscar. The next film I saw was Sea Rat, directed by Spanish director Oliver Lax, and the film itself is set in the deserts of Morocco. This is a movie that I'm sure a lot of people will hate. I can vividly imagine some guy declaring that this is in fact the worst movie of all time. The film is more about atmosphere and mood. It focuses on conveying a vibe and having the audience become immersed in it, much like how the characters themselves interact with the rave music. There are even stretches of this film that feel like a music video. The setting seems to be this surreal, liminal space that doesn't really belong in reality. The desert appears endless, stretching to infinity in every single direction. The sound design is heavy. You can feel the bass in your chest like it's reverberating through you. The score is full of these minimal, atmospheric techno beats that are trance-inducing. It combines perfectly with the stunning landscape shots to create a haunting mood that I haven't really seen captured in a film before. The characters are full of personality and each one is memorable. The story is very simple and even very repetitive, so it helps to have strong characters to carry you through it. After the halfway mark, the story starts to become unpredictable with some genuinely shocking moments. It really amps up the intensity, and I can see this being the point that either makes or breaks the film for a lot of people. This is a very strange film. Still not entirely sure what to make of it. It's not beginner friendly. That's as far as I can say. Fans of Gus Van Sant's Jerry will appreciate this, so shout out to all the Jerry fans out there. It's an overwhelming audio-visual experience that needs to be watched on the biggest screen available. And I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on this, I thought it was incredible from what I could gather from it. So yeah, 8 out of 10. The next film I saw was Boorman and the Devil, directed by David Kittredge. This is a documentary about director John Boorman as he attempts to direct the follow-up film to The Exorcist and all of the struggles he felt he faced during the production and subsequent release of the film. But before watching this film, I actually hadn't seen Exorcist 2: The Heretic, so I decided to watch that, so I'll just give my brief thoughts on it in the meantime. It's been well over a decade since I've seen the original Exorcist, so I can't really compare. I knew that this film was notoriously bad, and I knew that Mark Kermode, I think, declared that this is the worst film ever made. It is bad, but it's far from the worst. It's a jarring tonal shift from what I remember of the original. It's more like a goofy B-movie. There's a lot of Boorman-isms, and I think there's some cool visuals here and there. Some sequences are honestly striking and surreal. They reminded me of the drug trip scenes in Altered States. The biggest sin is that this film is extremely boring. It's also so silly that it's difficult to remain engaged. It's a bad movie. Wouldn't recommend it unless you're about to watch a making-of documentary on it. So this leads me to Boorman and the Devil. This is a very entertaining and informative documentary about Exorcist 2. It's about its production hell and subsequent failure. Each of the talking head interviews are fun to watch, and it's great to see a wide variety of perspectives on the film. Louise Fletcher is an absolute blast to watch. I wish she just was interviewed for the whole thing. The documentary has a cohesive editing style with hilarious animated sequences. When it gets to the film's poor reception, you can actually start to feel the panic that the filmmakers would have experienced. Like, it's actually kind of hilarious in hindsight, even though it's kind of sad from their perspective. This is a documentary that gives you that can give you a newfound appreciation for the filmmaking process. Like, I think that's the best thing you could possibly say about a documentary like this. I'm feeling like a solid 7 out of 10 on it. I think it's fun. It's a fun, informative documentary, and again, I think you kind of have to be familiar with Exorcist 2 before going into it. Speaking of John Boorman, Cork Film Festival did a re-showing of one of his films, being Zardoz, and since I had seen a documentary about him, I thought, what the hell, I'll go watch Zardoz again. So I have seen this film before, and it's an older film. It's from 1974, but I did see it at the festival, so I guess I'll talk about it. I don't really know what else there is, what there is to say about Zardoz, because it's like the wildest, most insane film ever made. It's absolutely bonkers. I believe Boorman even admitted to being on drugs while filming it, which explains a lot. I don't really want to say much about this film because it kind of needs to be experienced for yourself. It's just absolutely wild. It's like the type of movie you watch and you just think, what the hell were they thinking making any of this? Just look at Sean Connery in this. Look at what he's wearing. Look at Sean Connery's wardrobe. It's the worst fucking costume design I've seen in my whole life. What the hell? What the hell is this? Weird movie. Kind of feels like a lobotomized Jodorowsky film. I think that's the best description of it. It's like a brain damaged Jodorowsky film. Would recommend it. On rewatch, I did find it a bit stale and kind of overstayed its welcome because the novelty kind of wears off on a second watch. But I would still recommend it. I feel like a lot of people need to see this. It's unlike anything else ever made, and the experience cannot be found anywhere else. So I guess a 6 out of 10. It kind of defies proper rating system. So I guess 6, I suppose. 6. Yeah, watch it. The next film I saw was The Love That Remains, directed by Icelandic filmmaker Hilmar Pálmason. I had seen his previous film being Godland, and I really liked it. I really loved it. I have some criticisms of Godland, but I really love Godland, which is what made me excited for this one. This is a massive change of pace for Hilmar Pálmason when compared to Godland, because Godland was this gigantic, ominous, unwieldy, historical art house epic, and this film, The Love That Remains, couldn't be any different. It's a light-hearted, warm and cozy comedy drama. However, you can still tell that this is a Pálmason film, since there are several stylistic similarities between the two. This thing looks stunning. It might be the best looking film of 2025, which is saying a lot when the competition is One Battle After Another, Sirat, and 28 Years Later. Absolutely jaw-dropping scenery. The way weather and sunlight are captured is nothing short of sublime. There was one shot in this movie that actually made me... Jesus Christ. There was one shot in this movie that actually made me mutter, "Oh my God," to myself, with how just breathtaking it looked. There's a lot of Wes Anderson influence in this, just a bit. And to be honest, this is the film I want. This is the type of film I want Wes Anderson to make. This is showing he's beating Wes Anderson at his own game. From the visuals to the dry humor, what Anderson needs to catch up. Every single shot is just meticulously assembled, but it also feels so candid and natural, like they weren't even planned, like they just cut some stuff on the fly. And again, it just looks insane. It just looks so goddamn mind-blowing. The sense of humor is very playful and slightly exaggerated. And I don't want to say too much about the overall tone of this film, but I guess I will say there are a lot of pleasant surprises throughout. The characters are very endearing and each one is performed perfectly. I appreciate how this film is about a divorce, but it doesn't get caught up in all the intense drama that you usually get from a story of this subject matter. Not that it's a bad thing if a movie gets, really dramatic about being about a divorce, but it's a nice change of pace, because we've seen so many films like that in the past, and it's just nice to see something that's a little bit more subdued and comedic. I really love this film. I love the aimless, carefree plot. I love how much personality was conveyed through the editing. The score is genuinely comforting. Again, this thing looks absolutely beautiful. It's like a crackling fireplace or a film. You can feel the warmth radiating off of the screen. Everyone needs to see this. I adore this. It's one of the best films of the year, and yeah, I cannot wait to see this again, and I cannot wait to show this to other people. I'm feeling a 9 out of 10 on this. Easy 9 out of 10. The next film I saw was Pillion, directed by Harry Lighton, which I believe is his feature-length debut, and it's a very solid debut, sometimes rock solid for some scenes. And it's like a comedy drama that's about a queer BDSM relationship. And I don't know if I've seen a film showcase this type of relationship so explicitly. And I'm sure there's going to be a very normal reception once this gets a wide release. The casting here is perfect. Harry Melling totally sells the timid, sheltered wimp character, and Alexander Skarsgård is sure to have some people walking out of the cinema questioning themselves. Their dynamic essentially writes itself, since they're complete polar opposites, and they're able to evoke a broad spectrum of emotion, ranging from cringe comedy to some genuine moments of emotional resonance. Like I was not expecting to feel emotional watching this film. Like, what the hell? As far as presentation goes, everything is serviceable. Like, this film mostly relies on the strengths of the lead duo. The story is, like, honestly, like, my biggest criticism is that the story is, for some reason, really conventional and even predictable, despite how niche the subject matter is. Like, I don't know why it's aiming for broad appeal when a lot of people aren't going to vibe with all the latex and assless leotards. But anyway, watch this one with your parents and I'm sure they'll enjoy it. 7 out of 10. Next film I saw was A Useful Ghost, directed by, I'm going to get it right on the first try, Ratchapum Boonbunchachok. This is a film from Thailand, I think? Yeah, Thailand. It's like a light-hearted comedy, drama, fantasy movie about a ghost that possesses a vacuum cleaner, and it has like really cute like visual effects, you know, where they obviously look a bit fake, but it's all played like really straight and serious and kind of endearingly. But it gets stale so quickly, and this thing is way too long. Like, this could have been a nice, easy 80 minutes. It would have been a breeze at 80 minutes. I would have loved this if this was, 80 to 90 minutes long. But instead, it's 130. It's 2 hours, 10 minutes long. And it's so long, and it's so goddamn slow, and the novelty wears off. And it kind of starts to forget that it's a comedy, like, towards the end, even though it wasn't really that funny to begin with. Like, it was kind of cute, but they kind of repeated the same jokes. Like, they kind of had one joke that they just kind of kept repeating over and over again with the vacuum cleaner. And yeah, I just wasn't into this. Like, I just really did not care, and I was struggling to understand what the point of it being so long was, and being so, like, cumbersome. Yeah, I was really struggling with this, and I was just waiting for it to end, unfortunately. There's a lot of stuff I did appreciate about it, with like the cinematography, and there were some like nice moments here, but yeah, it really did feel like two films just jammed into one for no reason. And yeah, I think the film suffers from it. Like there is a great movie in here somewhere, but not in its current state. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to give this a 5 out of 10. I just did not vibe with it. And the last film I saw was The World of Love, directed by Yoon Gae-un. This is a South Korean high school drama, and it got good reviews, so I thought, what the hell, it was the most interesting thing being shown that day, so I went and saw it. And unfortunately, my final film for Cork Film Festival 2025 ends in a whimper and not a bang, because this film was fine. I was never bored, but nothing about it stuck out to me. It's all passable. There's nothing to comment on. There's nothing really to say about the cinematography or the editing or the sound design or the score. Like, there's nothing of note to really say at all. Like, some of the performances seemed a bit underwhelming at points, I guess, is my biggest criticism on a technical, like on a presentation level, there's only one scene in this entire film that had any sort of impact on me, and it was the car wash scene. And I feel like anyone who watches this movie, like everyone, is going to agree that the car wash scene is the best scene. But you know, for it to be like a great movie, every scene has to be like that. Like that was what was so, like, it was Just an Accident or Sirat or The Love That Remains. Like every scene in those movies is engaging and is able to evoke an emotion out of me. I shouldn't be sitting around waiting for something to happen in this movie. And I get that it's about a serious subject matter, but for me, like, that isn't all a movie is. Like, there's more going into it, and I just really struggle to find anything to appreciate about this film. Unfortunately, I thought this was a debut as well. Like, this movie felt like a debut. I was like, oh wow, this is like a solid, you know, if this is your first, but it's not. It's the director's like third or fourth film, I think, which I don't know. Like, I was really just struggling with this. I was really just trying to find good things to say about it, but I just couldn't. Like, I have to be honest here. So I'm giving this one a 5 out of 10 as well. So that does it for my endeavours in Cork International Film Festival 2025, the 70th annual event of it. There was some stuff I wanted to see but didn't get a chance to. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, The Secret Agent, Nouvelle Vague. But you know what, you can win them all. It was a great curation. I saw some great films here. Like, there's some like films here that will probably go down as like my favorites of the decade, not just of the year, but like of the decade. Like, there was some great curation here, so I was very happy with that. And I hope I hope to be able to attend the 71st festival, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you, and I hope you got some good recommendations from this.